Turnip Boy reminds me of one of those Flash games that took maybe a bit too much inspiration from old 2D Zelda games, but weren't themselves retro games. The kind of top-down action adventures that didn't force themselves into the limitations on 19's hardware, and favored a more modern look, at least modern for the time. While Turnip Boy's simple controls and clean, modern aesthetics are the clearest link with its flashy roots, it's its sense of humor, made of random non sequitur and meme references, that really gives it away. This is my first big problem with Turnip Boy. It's a comedy game and I kind of hate its sense of humor. Of all the things that Turnip Boy is, it is not funny, at least not to me. What it is a prolonged scene where Mac the Macaroni tries to intimidate you by quoting the Marine copypasta because it's a piece of pasta. And while the quote is slightly edited, it is not edited for time. Problem number 2 is that Turnip Boy is the story of an illiterate, tax-evading, semi-sentient turnip that can only break things and kill things, and use a watering can to solve puzzles sometimes. This is kind of funny, at first. The first thing you destroy is a piece of paper declaring your house was reappropriated by the state, for tax evasion, of course. The second is a love letter that your fruity friends entrust you with, which upon receiving you immediately destroy, right in front of her. It's actually really sad. And the worst part is that you knew that the strawberry lady was into her as well, and you destroyed the letter, you monster! Why would you do that? But you know why you did that, because it's the only thing Turnip Boy can do. It's actually quite a clever meta joke. You can feel the devs cackling behind you as you make this terrible choice no one would ever make, if not just to see what happens before reloading a save, not because you want to, but because it's the only choice. This is legitimately a great joke and an excellent way to set up the surprisingly central mechanic of destroying books and pages, which ends up being the key to unlocking the secret ending. The problem is that this joke, just like any joke, even the best joke a game has to offer, can only really land once. And in the case of Turnip Boy, it isn't for a lack of trying. If anything manages to save this weird world of unfunny jokes and intentionally unfunny memes, it's the art style, which somehow mixes the slightly weird and the outright uncanny with just incredibly cute little details. Like this little avocado seed that looks like she's carrying a backpack, but it's actually the fruit hanging on her back. It's weird and makes no in-universe sense, but it's a solid and memorable design. It's just great. Even if Avocado Girl doesn't actually use parts of her body as a backpack, her design still makes a lot of sense, if on a more abstract level. She's an adventurer of sort, investigating the mysterious past of this world. The glasses and facial expression make her look like a bit of a nerd, probably some sort of expert, while the straw hat and oversized avocado backpack sell the idea of an unexperienced but eager explorer. The game's full of those adorable vegetable people that only really make sense when you consider them as part of a video game. In this way, the presentation goes hand in hand with the writing, which in turn makes the entire game go by smoothly. Meme references aren't really my thing, as I've explained before, but I'll take Mac the Macaroni reciting a copypasta over a fully fledged character making an in-universe dodge meme reference any day. One of the biggest letdown of this story is how, of all of the weird stuff the game has to offer, the vast majority is presented through words alone. I say this is a letdown because when the game does finally shut up, the result is a memorable 10 minutes dungeon crawl that is as strange as everything else in the game, but actually feels meaningful. Spoilers for the best 10 minutes of the game. If you want to skip ahead, go to here. The dungeon starts as Turnip Boy unlocks the entrance to what he sees like an underground cave, but which we immediately recognize as an atomic-era war bunker. Up to this point, the game has only hinted at a nuclear war taking place sometime in the past, a diary from the old world, a pre-war newspaper, but this is our first time interacting with the post-apocalypse part of the setting directly. But the fact of the matter is that all of this means nothing to Turnip Boy. So we dive into the bunker, breaking every door open and generally causing a mess, as we've been doing until now. The whole way through we see humans running away from us, retreating deeper and deeper into their home. But to us, they're just a function of the game, an indication of where the next part of the dungeon is. So we follow them. We follow them so good that we outrun one of them, a girl named Liz who stayed behind just enough to catch some of Turnip Boy's radiation. And so begins the boss battle against Liz, the mutated human. After killing her, we only have to get the laser pointer we came here for, and then we're free to leave. The transformation sequence and all the journals scattered around, the fact that Liz wasn't even alone in this dungeon, they're all good reasons to feel like the villain here. But the laser pointer is what makes it really undeniable. To make matters worse, it turns out that this already mundane, basically useless object we came here for is actually the discarded toy of a dead pet. Liz writes about how the object reminds her of a cat, how she wishes she could throw it out if she had an out to go to. I just love this dungeon for a few reasons. First, it's got that classic Fallout double meaning, where I know where this is going, the humans know where this is going, but Turnip Boy doesn't, and I'm playing as Turnip Boy. He's here for the laser pointer, so I have to get the laser pointer, even though I know that the best option would be to just leave. It's got that dramatic irony of knowing what my character doesn't, while still having to act in character, and make poor decisions in character, and I love it for that. I also love it because of how weird it is. And not in a lol so random sort of way. It's a weirdness that acknowledges how bizarre this world is, how bad it would clash with something as grave and, generally speaking, as serious as nuclear war, but doesn't find them incompatible. This world is all weird and upside down, and since everything in it is weird, weird is also important. Weird is serious and sad. Those 10 minutes, the best 10 minutes in the game by far, make me wish the entire game took itself more seriously, even if just by a little bit. That said, the game is fine as it is. There's plenty of cute human moments and some jokes that do actually land, even if they're few and far between. Just don't expect anything on the same line or level as those 10 minutes. At time of writing, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion just left the Xbox Game Pass line out. That said, it's like $10 at full price, and it's usually on sale at like 60% on Steam, and it's available on Android as well as PC and consoles. The controls are so simple that this might actually work really well on mobile. Reviewers seem to think the same, but I've only played this on PC, so I have no idea. So it's cute, it's occasionally funny, and it's got one extremely good, extremely short dungeon. But it's good. Really, play it, please. But the real question is, should you play Turnip Boy over, say, an actual 2D Zelda game, or Tunic, or It's All Due 1 and 2, or Anodyne 1 and 2, or Hyperlight Drifter? I don't know, maybe? The genre is oversaturated with great games, many of which I would rank a fair bit higher than Turnip Boy. Something good I can say about Turnip Boy is that it's one of the most unique games in a genre that is often very samey. It's a very simple game with a unique sense of style and an absurd premise that never stops being weird, even if it's a shallow sort of weirdness for the most part. And it's one of the few games in the genre that you can actually play on your phone. And it's a fair bit cheaper than most indie games, and way cheaper than anything Nintendo. With a bit over 2 hours of content and a price point in the single digits, there's no real reason not to give Turnip Boy a chance, even if he did commit tax evasion.